Hey guys, tonight we journey deep into the heart of the Guatemalan rainforest, thick, ancient, and still whispering the secrets of civilizations that once thrived beneath its canopy. You're here for the mystery, I know. But let's get one thing out of the way. You probably won't survive this. Not because of jaguars or quicksand or some Indiana Jones booby trap, though all of those are definitely options, but because this story follows a long line of explorers, wanderers, and overly confident archaeologists who vanished after entering a place they never should have stepped foot in. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And drop your location and local time in the comments. Let's see who else is awake with us tonight. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You stand at the edge of the jungle, boots barely brushing the gnarled roots that spill from the earth like ancient fingers. The trees tower above, thick-trunked and draped in vines, their canopy blotting out the sun so thoroughly that even your phone can't get a signal. It's humid, like breathing through a wet sock, and the soundscape is just a chaotic choir of howler monkeys, buzzing insects, and a distant squawk that you're really hoping isn't some weird dinosaur bird. There's something wrong about this place. Not in a horror movie kind of way, but in a this land remembers kind of way. The locals in the village you left behind made the sign of the cross when you asked about ruins in this direction. A woman clutching a basket of limes muttered Lakama under her breath and walked away. The funny thing is, this place doesn't officially exist. Not on any modern maps. It used to. Barely. A few old Spanish records. One 1897 expedition. But there's no coordinates. No satellite images. Just rumor. Folklore. And one blurry black and white photo of what might be a ziggurat or might just be a trick of the light on some rocks. And yet, here you are, holding that crumpled map you found at a roadside thrift store in Chiapas. The paper is thin and greasy, probably stained with the fingerprints of 1,000 curious hands. The ink is faded, but the X is still clear. Just on the edge of the jungle's heart, your guide, a man named Mateo, who chewed coca leaves like candy and refused to make eye contact, dropped you off with one last warning. You walk past the river. You walk alone. The city takes what it wants. That was 2 hours ago. Now, you're 3 miles in, and everything smells like damp earth and green. Really green. Like the color green got jealous of itself and exploded across every surface. You pause to drink from your canteen, and that's when you notice it. The silence. No birds. No monkeys. Just stillness. Like the jungle just hit the mute button. You scan the trees. Nothing. But you feel it eyes. Watching. Waiting. Measuring your worth. Your heart thuds a little harder than it should. You're a rational person. Sure. But even rational people have instincts. And yours is currently telling you to run, not walk. Run. But then you spot something, an unnatural line in the foliage. A sliver of straight where everything else is crooked. You push aside a curtain of moss and find a narrow path just wide enough for one person. It winds between tall kapok trees and leads down into a shallow valley shrouded in mist. The air is cooler here, damp like a crypt. You follow it, And that's when you find the first stone. It juts from the earth at a crooked angle, worn by time, but unmistakably carved. Not just a rock, a marker. The edges bear faint lines. Glyphs, maybe, though time and weather have all but erased their stories. You kneel beside it. Brush away some dirt with your gloved hand. There's a symbol, a circle with 3 dots. You don't know what it means, but your stomach tightens at the sight, like you've just read a warning in a language you were never meant to understand. Mainstream historians agree that the Maya were master builders, engineers, astronomers, and mathematicians far ahead of their time. Their cities were aligned with the stars, their calendars eerily precise. But even now, archaeologists have barely scratched the surface. Entire cities, temples, and causeways still slumber beneath jungle and soil, waiting to be rediscovered or left alone. And there's a theory, quirky but persistent, that some of these cities were never meant to be found again. That when the Maya abandoned them. They weren't fleeing war or famine. They were sealing something in. Of course, that's fringe stuff. Tabloid talk. The kind of thing you hear on midnight AM radio while driving across the desert. But standing here, with that carved stone in your hand and the jungle's breath on your neck, you're not so sure it's nonsense. You move deeper into the valley. The path widens. Vines hang like curtains, parting just enough for you to pass through. And then your breath catches. A clearing, roughly circular, overgrown, yes, but unmistakably artificial. And at the center a mound. No, not a mound, a structure. Buried beneath moss and creepers, but geometric. Stepped, a pyramid. It's smaller than Tikal or Chichen Itza, but it's there. Real. The kind of thing you'd expect a team of researchers to be swarming over. But there's no one. No flags. No gear. Just the sound of your breath and the creak of old stone shifting under centuries of damp. You circle the base. There's a narrow stair, choked with weeds. You climb carefully, each step groaning beneath your weight. And at the top, a flat platform, broken stone columns, and a single altar in the center. It's stained, dark, not rust, not soil, something else. You reach out just to touch the edge, and your hand tingles. Pins and needles, like static electricity from an old CRT television screen. You jerk back instinctively. Maybe it's in your head. Maybe the jungle heat is getting to you. Or maybe it's already begun. But you'll find out soon enough, because just beneath that altar, there's a hole, and it's breathing. You stare at the hole. It's not large, maybe the size of a manhole cover, half choked with vines and leaf litter. But what grabs your attention isn't the shape or even the depth. It's the sound, a soft, rhythmic inhale, like the jungle itself is exhaling through this opening. Warm air rushes out, carrying the scent of old stone, wet clay, and something sour metallic, almost like pennies left in a cup of rainwater. You kneel down, grip the edge of the altar, and peer in. Darkness. Complete. Absolute darkness. The kind that feels thick, heavy, like velvet soaked in oil. Your flashlight cuts through maybe 5 feet of it before the beam just dissolves. You sit back, Your pulse is in your ears now. That drumbeat of you shouldn't be here just got louder. And yet you reach into your pack. Out comes the crumpled map. That thrift store treasure you almost didn't buy. Tucked between a cracked Polaroid camera and a box of marbles. You thought it was a novelty. A prank. Maybe a fake conquistador's map scribbled on greaseproof paper. But then you noticed something the corners had been reinforced with cloth, the kind archivists use to keep aged documents from tearing. And the ink not printed, hand-drawn, painstaking, almost reverent. The X is marked just over a strange looping glyph, something like a spiral wrapped in jagged teeth, and the words written in tiny script beneath it. La ciudad que no existe después de ser vista. The city that no longer exists once seen. Charming. Still, the map's been eerily accurate so far, especially the bit where it warned of La Boca de Piedra, the stone mouth, which you're pretty sure you're looking at. You lean back, trying to decide if descending into what is possibly a tomb, a crypt, or some ancient, forbidden garbage chute is actually a good idea. That's when you hear it. Click, click, click. Not a natural noise. It echoes faintly from the trees behind you, metallic and uneven, like someone or something wearing shoes with loose soles, stumbling across stone. You spin around, eyes scanning the tree line. But nothing moves. The vines sway gently in the humid air, but no shadows detach. No branches crack. You hold your breath. 5 seconds. 10. Then silence again. Your fingers tighten around the edge of the altar. You're making a decision. Against better judgment. Yes. But curiosity is a disease that eats smarter people than you. You fish out a coil of rope from your pack, secure it to the nearest column, and begin your descent. The stone tunnel is narrow, the walls slick with moisture. You slide slowly, boots scraping against uneven rock. The light from above fades quickly, and the beam of your flashlight seems to struggle here, like the darkness is swallowing it a bit more than it should. Mainstream historians have long debated the purpose of these vertical shafts in Mayan temples. Some were clearly ceremonial, used in ritual offerings, human or otherwise. Some served as secret escape tunnels, but others seemed to lead nowhere, just downward, endless. A few explorers called them dead tunnels, not for what they found in them, but for how many people entered and never returned. About 30 feet down, your feet hit solid ground. You're in a chamber, small, circular. The walls are covered in carvings, glyphs, and strange stick-like figures in various contorted poses. One is upside down, legs folded back behind its head. Another appears to have no mouth. And one, prominently etched in the center, wears a helmet shaped like a bat's head, arms raised toward a star-shaped hole above. You sweep your light around the chamber and pause. A backpack, moldy, half collapsed, lying just against the far wall. You approach it slowly. The fabric crumbles at your touch, but inside, there are still a few recognizable objects: a rusted compass, a cracked magnifying lens, and a leather-bound notebook. On the front cover, W. Casgrove, 1934. Winston Casgrove, the British archaeologist who vanished on an expedition to Guatemala in the early 30s. You remember the name from from a random Wikipedia spiral one night, sandwiched between ancient Mesoamerican engineering and top 10 disappearances in archaeology. He was tracking rumors of a hidden city of endings, left behind a few telegrams, a supply receipt, and then nothing. No recovery, no body. Just stories. You crack open the notebook. The pages are stained, some illegible, but a few entries remain. Day 3, narrow pass. Smell like sulfur, Luis heard chanting. Day 6, found a carving. Masked figure offering heart to the sky. Same as on the stele from Kapan. Day 9, everyone else gone. Heard them whispering, even after I was alone. The last entry is a smear of ink. A single word return. You sit back against the damp wall, notebook still in hand. It's strange, there's no dust here. The air feels preserved, like the jungle above and the stone below are two different worlds. And down here, time just hit pause. Fringe researchers have long speculated that certain places in the world like this operate outside normal perception. That ancient cultures may have discovered geographical or energetic thin spots between realities. Laughable, sure, but standing here, clutching the journal of a man who was declared legally dead 9 decades ago, you start to wonder if maybe the fringe just means no one wanted to dig deeper. Suddenly, a rush of air slams into the chamber cold, dry, and aggressive. The flame on your lighter? Yes, you lit it for nostalgia. It felt right. Flares sideways. You turn toward the tunnel behind you. But something's changed. The rope you used to descend? Gone. You lunge for the wall where you tied it. But the stone is smooth now. No anchor. No frayed rope end. Just blank, damp wall. The panic comes fast, sharp in your chest. Your breath hitches, and then you hear it again. Click, click, click. But this time, from inside the chamber, it's not alone. You spin around, flashlight trembling slightly in your grip. Click, click, click. The sound echoes strangely here, bouncing in loops that make it hard to tell where it's coming from. At first, you think it's behind you, then above, then impossibly beneath your feet. You back up slowly, one hand brushing against the cold, slick wall. Your breath has gone shallow again. The air too dense and metallic. Every inhalation feels like it's skimming the edge of a coin. Then your light catches movement. A shadow, low to the ground. Too quick to be fully seen, but definitely there, skittering just at the edge of your vision. Like a large dog, but wrong. It doesn't walk. It glides. No sound of pause, just a dry rustling, like paper dragged over stone. You raise your flashlight and sweep the chamber. Empty. Your skin prickles. Okay. Think. You're in a sealed underground room with no visible exit. Your rope is gone, and something very not friendly is in here with you. Congratulations. You've achieved the full ancient ruin horror starter pack. And then your fingers brush something. Not stone. Wood. You spin, lower the flashlight, and there it is, partially buried under crumbled debris, a trapdoor. Square. Rotting. The hinges are rusted, but it's definitely real. You drop to your knees and start clawing away at the covering rubble. It creaks when you pull it open. damp earth smell floods your nose richer, older, like something that hasn't seen daylight in centuries is exhaling straight into your face. Below, a stairwell, narrow and steep, and carved straight into the rock. You don't hesitate. Whatever was in the chamber isn't making small talk, and your instincts are screaming that the trapdoor is away, and away is good. You duck down, feet first, and begin your careful descent. The walls of this stairwell are rough-hewn and strangely warm to the touch. You drag your hand along them as you descend, half for balance, half for reassurance. The rock pulses slightly under your palm, like the heartbeat of something sleeping beneath. Somewhere along the way, your flashlight begins to flicker, not die flicker, like it's reacting to something unseen. You slap it gently. It steadies. For now. Mainstream archaeology doesn't account for the parts of Mayan history that feel like myth. Sure, we know about their cities, their temples, their gods of corn and rain. But there are darker gods too, ones that didn't make it into the tourist brochures. One of them, Kamazats, is a god of night, of death, a humanoid bat, worshipped in the caves beneath ancient cities, offerings made in silence, altars in absolute dark. Some scholars argue he was symbolic. Others whisper he was more, that certain rituals didn't just honor him. They invited him. Your light flickers again. You round a corner, and there it is. A chamber, larger this time, oval-shaped. The walls are etched with what looks like a calendar. Not the famous long-count calendar you've seen on documentaries. No. This one is different. No numbers, just symbols. Repeating ones, masked faces, serpents eating their own tails, and one that sends a cold thread down your spine, an eye. Just one, repeating every few glyphs. Watching, and across the far wall, a mural. It's still partially intact. The paint faded but visible reds, blacks, deep ochre. The scene shows a man standing on a stone platform. His arms are spread wide, his head tilted back. Surrounding him are creatures half human, half something else. Long limbs, mask-like faces. One appears to be handing the man a mask. Another is crawling up behind him. You step closer, and that's when you see it. The man, he's not wearing modern clothes. But look at the shape of his boots, the strap of a backpack, the faint suggestion of cargo pants. It's recent. Someone made this mural long after the city should have been abandoned. You don't know what's worse, that someone was here before you, or that they never left. Suddenly, a new sound fills the chamber. Not the click-click from before. This one's lower, a kind of whisper. Not words, just air, shifting, like wind through teeth. You spin around, light scanning the chamber, and your beam settles on something at the far edge. Another passage, narrower still. A tunnel, carved with far more care than the stairwell. Its entrance is flanked by two statues tall, crumbling, each holding a circular shield across its chest. They both wear identical expressions, grim, lips pursed, eyes slitted, and above them, a glyph, just like the one on the stone you found in the jungle. A circle, 3 dots. You hesitate at the threshold. There's something final about it. Like once you pass through this arch, the story changes. You won't be able to go back, not just physically, but mentally. Emotionally, you press forward. The tunnel swallows you immediately. The temperature drops. The walls are lined with repeating carvings' hands. Just hands, palm prints, to be exact. Some small, childlike, others enormous. Some pressed neatly, others streaked downward, like whoever left them had slipped. Historians still argue whether tunnels like these were ceremonial passageways or psychological trials meant to test a priest's resolve, or maybe even his sanity. Some claimed they altered your state of mind. The architecture, the darkness, the echo, it changes how you think. Some even say it resets you, like a system reboot. And fun fact, those same tunnels several explorers in the 1970s entered and were never seen again. Equipment found, yes. Bodies, nope. You keep walking, step after step. And finally, the tunnel opens into a vast underground hall. It takes your breath. Massive stone pillars stretch into the dark above, vanishing into shadow. In the center, a dais, carved, circular, and covered in dust. But the real marvel, the walls, lined from floor to ceiling with masks. Hundreds, maybe thousands, all styles. Some vibrant and feathered, some grotesque, twisted. Others look eerily modern smooth, metallic, almost surgical. And at the far end of the hall, one mask stands out. It's massive, 7 feet tall, mounted like a guardian. The material obsidian, maybe, jet black and reflective. And the eyes empty. You walk closer. Something draws you in. And then your flashlight dies. Everything goes black. And the whispering starts again. You freeze. The blackness isn't just dark, it's suffocating. You raise your hand to your face, but can't even see the silhouette of your fingers. Your flashlight is dead. Your lighter won't catch. And the whispering is all around you now. It isn't coming from one direction. It's everywhere. Above, below, behind, inside. You try to move, but something about this darkness, it's paralyzing. Not physically. No. You can move your limbs just fine. But your brain, it starts to fuzz, like static washing over your thoughts, a cottony numbness pressing into your skull. Then, ever so faintly, a new sensation. A breeze. It wafts past your cheek, cool, smooth, deliberate, not natural, not random. It smells like stone that's been sealed too long, like the space behind a wall when it finally breaks. With it comes something faintly sweet, like rotting jasmine. If that existed, your stomach tightens. And suddenly, a glow. Faint at first, blue, flickering. It pulses from the far end of the hall, right behind the enormous obsidian mask. The whispering dims, not gone, but now more like distant chanting. You step forward cautiously, hands out, and as you get closer, the glow sharpens. Behind the mask, there's a crack, a vertical split in the stone wall, barely a hand's width wide. From it seeps that unearthly light, pale and undulating, like it's alive. You angle yourself, press an eye to the crack, and what you see makes your breath catch. A staircase, spiraling downward, carved out of smooth, black stone. Floating orbs of soft blue flame hover at intervals, each one locked in place, pulsing like breathing lungs. And beyond that, a city, not ruins, not broken columns and shattered roofs. An actual, intact city. Shimmering buildings rise from the cavern floor, their walls etched with glowing glyphs. Roads wind through it like veins. And at the very center, a massive stepped pyramid gleams like polished bone under the eerie light. You stagger back from the crack. Your heartbeat is thunder in your ears. You found it, the lost Mayan city. The one they whispered about. The one nobody ever made it back from. Except it's not ruins. It's waiting. You should run. Every instinct screams that. But instead, you reach out and touch the mask. Warm. It shouldn't be, but it is. The stone hums under your fingertips like a deep vibration. You press harder, and the wall slides open. Just a few inches. Just enough. And now the chanting is louder. Still unintelligible, but urgent. Rhythmic. Like a heartbeat that belongs to someone much, much older than anything human. You slide through the narrow opening, and instantly, the air changes. It smells sweeter, fresher. Not like outside, but not stale like the tunnels either. It's like stepping into a terrarium, an artificial ecosystem that's been sealed shut for centuries. You stand on a ledge overlooking the city, and that's when you notice them. Figures. Moving. At first, you think they're statues, but then one shifts slightly, tilts its head, another steps forward. Their movements are slow, deliberate, like underwater dancers. They're cloaked in robes that shimmer like beetle shells, faces hidden behind masks, each one different. Jaguar faces, hollow skulls, flat wooden circles with slits for eyes. You duck instinctively, your back pressed to the rock. Your breath catches again, your skin clammy. They don't speak. They just move in small, quiet patterns along the city paths below. Almost like a ritual or a patrol. One of them stops, looks up. You pull back before you're seen. You think, maybe. Historians still argue whether Mayan cities were truly abandoned or if their collapse was more a migration, an evolution. But fringe theories, oh, they go deep. They say that some cities never fell. They disappeared on purpose, hidden through architecture, sacrifice, or otherworldly means. And now, standing here, watching a glowing city full of masked figures beneath the earth, you're beginning to believe those fringe theories weren't so fringe after all. You glance down the stone stairs. They look recently used. Not dusty, no vines, no debris. Worn smooth. You start to descend. Every step echoes faintly, but not like normal stone. This one hums, as if the city itself recognizes your presence. Halfway down, you see more carvings on the inner walls of the staircase. They depict people donning masks, one by one. Each time they do, their bodies change, grow longer or shorter, or disappear altogether. The last panel is just a mask, floating, no face behind it, You reach the bottom, and the temperature drops. Not freezing, but sharp, like walking through a ghost. Ahead of you stands an archway, intricately carved, bone white, glowing faintly. No doors, just open space. And beyond it, the city proper. You step through. The ground is made of smooth obsidian tiles. As you walk, your reflection follows below, slightly delayed, just a fraction of a second off, but enough that you notice. You keep walking, and then you pass a building with no windows. Inside, flickering shadows, figures standing still, facing away. One turns its head slightly as you pass, and though its face is hidden by a wooden mask, you feel it watching. Another building. This one has glyphs painted along its outer walls in bright crimson. As you approach, a low hum begins in your ears. Not a sound exactly, more like a vibration in your teeth. You step back, instant relief. Okay, lesson learned. Maybe don't touch everything. You continue forward, deeper into the city. Every now and then, a masked figure passes by. None acknowledge you directly, but they don't seem alarmed either. Almost like they know you're coming. Like they've been waiting. At the end of the road, the massive pyramid rises in front of you. Its steps are wide, glowing faintly along the edges. At the summit, you can just make out a platform and something else, a mask, massive, floating, spinning slowly in the air. You're about to take a step toward the pyramid, but then one of the masked figures appears beside you, silently, too silently. It tilts its head, then raises a hand and gestures upward, not in greeting, in invitation. You hesitate just for a second, because here's the thing: when a masked, silent being emerges from the glowing underworld of a city that technically shouldn't exist and beckons you toward a giant floating mask on top of a pyramid, you pause. You'd be a little suspicious too. But something in the gesture isn't threatening. It's almost reverent, like a priest calling a pilgrim to the altar. The figure stands still, arm extended, head tilted in that way birds do when they're curious or when they've already decided what's about to happen. You glance back the way you came. There's nothing behind you now, not even the archway, just darkness, the kind that folds in on itself like a curtain or a door, closed without sound. The message is clear forward, or not at all. So, with one more steadying breath, you walk toward the pyramid. The masked figure follows at a distance, its footsteps making no sound on the obsidian tiles. You wonder if it's floating, or if the city just doesn't let its guardians make noise. Either way, the silence is eerie. At the base of the pyramid, you place one hand on the first step. Warm. Everything here is warm. Even though the air isn't, it's like the whole city pulses with a memory, something ancient and still alive, just beneath the surface. You begin to climb. The steps are wide and shallow, making your ascent slower than expected. Your breath comes heavier. Your legs ache a little, but not from effort. From something else, a pressure. Like the air gets thinner with each step. Halfway up, you pause. You turn your head to look down over the city. It stretches out beneath you in perfect symmetry. Roads, buildings, pools of glowing water, that look like veins pumping liquid starlight through the stone. The masked figures move slowly through the avenues, their pace almost meditative. And then you see it in the center of the city, where you hadn't looked closely before, is a hole, perfectly round, black, deeper than vision allows, like a well, but wider, like the city was built around it. The masked figures give it wide berth. No one stands near it. No lights flicker close. A chill walks up your spine, and then motion from above. You turn toward the summit. The floating mask is massive, easily twice your height, smooth, metallic, shaped like a stylized human face. No features, just slits for eyes. It turns slowly, suspended in midair above the final platform of the pyramid, as if waiting. You climb the last few steps. The masked figure stops a few paces below you, bowing slightly. You feel its gaze, or rather, the absence of gaze watching as you step forward. The platform is etched with symbols, glyphs, arranged in a spiral. You can't read them, but something about the pattern feels directional, like it's guiding you toward the center. You walk into the spiral, and the moment you cross the innermost circle, the air changes. There's a sound, a low hum, rising in pitch, so deep it vibrates your bones. The floating mask turns, facing you directly. The spiral beneath your feet begins to glow, and something inside your mind shifts. Suddenly, you feel seen, not in the way a person watches another person, in the way a mountain watches a raindrop. Not hostile, not kind, just immense, indifferent, ancient. You want to look away, but your eyes stay fixed on the mask, and then its eyes begin to glow. Red at first, then gold, then a blue so deep it feels like falling into a well. Your body is frozen. The hum builds, and suddenly images, flooding your mind, too fast to process. You see a jungle, thick and alive. You see a great Mayan city being built not by slaves, but by volunteers, priests and artisans working side by side, guided by dreams. You see them carving stone, not for gods, but for something else. A promise. You see people placing offerings into a well, not sacrifices, memories, scrolls, bones, feathers, masks. You see the city vanishing, not crumbling, but sliding downward, like a ship sinking on purpose, hidden, preserved. And then you see the ones who stayed, masked, silent, waiting. For what you? Maybe not you, exactly, but someone, a return, a recognition, a choice. You stumble back, the glow vanishes, the hum stops. The mask rises slowly into the air, spins one final time, and then begins to sink into the stone platform itself, smooth as water draining down a plug hole. In its place, something remains. A smaller mask, stone, simple. It lies on the platform like a gift, or a question. You kneel and pick it up. It's heavier than it looks, carved from some dark, glassy stone. Obsidian, maybe. The inside is smooth, shaped to fit a human face. You turn it over in your hands, and that's when the masked figure steps forward again. It raises one arm, points toward the city. The implication is clear. Put it on. Historians still argue whether masks in Mayan culture were simply ceremonial, used in death rites and festivals, or if they were believed to carry actual power. Some theories suggest the masks allowed the wearer to embody gods. Others say they erased the wearer's identity completely. One particularly chilling interpretation, that the mask didn't transform you. It replaced you. You hold the mask to your face. The stone is cold, then warm. You hesitate, but only for a moment. And then you lower it onto your face. The world shifts, not violently, not all at once, more like a slow unraveling. The soundscape fades. The city grows clearer. Somehow, every detail sharpens. The light pulses gently. You feel the city breathing. And beneath that, a chorus of voices, not speaking, remembering, welcoming. You look down at your hands. They look the same, but they're not. You feel taller, lighter. Your thoughts aren't just yours. They echo slightly, as though someone or something is thinking with you. You turn toward the masked figure. It bows. You bow back, and then you walk into the city. Not as a visitor, as one of them, whatever that means now. But this is only the beginning. Because as you step into the glowing streets, something far below at the center of that round black well stirs. And it has noticed. You don't walk anymore. You glide. You can't explain it. But your feet barely touch the ground now. The tiles beneath you pulse with a soft blue glow as you pass, responding to your presence like a creature breathing in its sleep. And the mask, it doesn't feel like a mask. It feels like skin, not suffocating or tight. More like, right, like it was waiting for you, molded to your face by centuries of intent. When you try to take it off just to test, it doesn't budge. But you're not scared. Not really. That's the strange part. You feel calm. The other masked figures nod slightly as you pass. Silent approval. They don't speak, not aloud. But their thoughts brush against yours. Words made of feelings. Like waking dreams shared between strangers. You start to understand their language not through study, but immersion. Glyphs etched into walls begin to whisper their meanings. They don't speak in sentences. They speak in concepts. Whole paragraphs delivered as flashes of memory and emotion. And what they're telling you. The city is called Xibalbatun, the road below. Built not to be discovered, but to be waited for. The Mayans above didn't disappear. They just departed, left the surface world behind and descended here, one by one, through rituals and knowledge now lost to time, or maybe hidden on purpose. And here's the kicker. They didn't do it to escape death. They did it to study it. The people of Xibalbatun believed death wasn't an end, but a dimension, a field of understanding. They built this city as a kind of observatory, not for stars, but for afterlives. And the pit at the center, that's their telescope. You find yourself drawn toward it again, not by command, by curiosity. You walk slowly through the city, now seeing details that were invisible before, glyphs etched into living plants, walls that murmur when you lean in, pools of liquid light that shimmer when you speak near them. You pass a chamber shaped like a spiral shell. Inside, figures meditate in perfect stillness. One opens their palm, and you see a tiny flickering flame sitting there, hovering above the skin. A soul fragment, you understand, preserved like a specimen. You pass another structure with no roof, just open sky, or what appears to be sky. When you look up, stars move too fast, like time is folding. Historians still argue whether Mayan cosmology was metaphor or literal map. You're starting to think it was both. And then you arrive at the well. No guards, no barrier. Just that perfect circle, carved into the earth like a pupil. You stand at the edge and look down. It's deeper than darkness. You can't see a bottom, but you hear something. A low chant, almost like the one from the chamber above, but slower, ancient. It pulls at the base of your spine like gravity tuned to emotion. The masked figure from the pyramid stands beside you again. You didn't hear them arrive, but you're not surprised. They extend their hand, not to stop you, to offer something. A bowl. Inside, 5 objects a feather, a shard of jade, a drop of blood. Yes, real, you can smell the iron, a corn kernel, and a small bone. You take the bowl instinctively. Your hands know what to do. One by one, you drop the offerings into the pit. There's no sound of impact. They vanish silently, swallowed by the void. And then, the well responds. A pulse of air rises, cool, damp, heavy with meaning. And in the mist that follows, visions, flickering like old film. You see a procession of masked figures leading a child to the edge. She's unafraid. She offers a single tear, and the mist accepts it. You see someone, maybe you, maybe not, sitting cross-legged before the pit, meditating for days, weeks, years. Time flows differently here. You see the city as it was being built, stone by stone, around this one unexplainable hole. No bottom, no echo, just presence. And you begin to remember things that didn't happen to you. Memories not yours. A woman painting glyphs in ochre by moonlight. A man dancing in the rain, spinning in rhythm with the storms. A child weaving a mask of reeds, humming a tune you now know by heart. These memories seep into you through the mask, and you don't reject them. That's what the mask is, not just a disguise. It's a receiver. It tunes you into the collective memory of the city, not just its people. The city itself. You turn your gaze back to the pit. And this time, something stares back. You don't see it with your eyes. You feel it, like a pressure behind your ribs. A gaze that isn't light, but wait. It's been watching you the whole time. And now, it's curious. Not hostile, not yet, but aware. It speaks, not in words, in a concept. Descend, a simple command. Or is it a question? A test. You step back from the edge. Heart pounding, but calm. Like being nervous before a concert. Before a performance, you've rehearsed your whole life without realizing. Because this is what the others did, isn't it? This is where they went. The ones who never returned. They didn't vanish. They just went deeper. But here's the thing. They weren't lost. They were claimed. And now, it's your turn. Just one step forward, just one breath. But before you move, the figure beside you turns, and for the first time, speaks. The voice is soft, ancient, not male, not female, just old. Only those who forget themselves may return. What that means, you don't know. Not yet, but you're about to find out. Because the edge is right there, and the pull is only growing stronger. You sit at the edge of the well, legs dangling into nothing. The stone is cold beneath you, damp with the kind of moisture that clings to underground places and old memories. The air that rises from the pit smells like cinnamon and wet leaves, somehow nostalgic. Like a scent your grandmother wore, even though you're sure she didn't. Around you, the city continues its slow, glowing pulse. No one stops you. No one hurries you. This isn't a sacrifice. This is an invitation, one you've already accepted. You look down again. Still no bottom, just layers of darkness that seem to breathe. And so, without fanfare, you take a breath and slide off the edge. You don't fall, you drift. Downward, slow, like sinking through honey. The walls of the shaft are smooth and carved with spiraling glyphs that shimmer faintly. As you pass them, you begin to understand them, not with your brain, but with some other part of you. The part that understands music before lyrics, or knows a lie before it's spoken. The glyphs tell a story of departure, of a time when the surface world was noisy and angry, when cities were torn apart by drought, by war, by hunger, and some, just a few, chose another way. They followed the glyphs. Down, the shaft narrows and widens unpredictably. Sometimes, you float beside huge stone murals. One shows a figure giving their shadow to a god made of stars. Another depicts a serpent swallowing a mask, then growing wings. Historians still argue whether Mayan underworlds were meant to be literal realms or just allegories for the soul's journey. But floating down this shaft, seeing stories carved in stone with the kind of devotion usually reserved for birthplaces and graves, you start to think, maybe both. You pass alcoves with ancient offerings, jars of obsidian dust, bundles of feathers, bones painted gold. Some of the bones look human, some don't. One chamber opens like a bubble in the shaft. Inside it, a skeleton kneels. It wears a jaguar pelt and a headdress of turquoise. Its fingers are curled toward its heart. On its chest rests a stone cube, still glowing faintly. You feel no fear, only respect. This was someone important, someone who came here willingly and stayed farther down. The air grows warmer again, almost humid, and you hear the drumming. At first, it's faint, just a pulse in your ears. But as you descend, it becomes more complex, rhythmic, layered, like a heartbeat amplified through a mountain. You begin to realize you're not alone. Shapes move in the stone around you, just at the edges of vision. Flickers of movement, like fish darting behind coral. Except these fish wear masks. Some shimmer like obsidian. Others are painted with crimson, indigo, and gold. Their eyes glow, but not with menace. Just interest. You are a curiosity to them. His surface world soul, halfway unwrapped, One drifts closer. It's small, child-sized. Its mask is cracked on one side. It reaches out a hand. You take it. There's no voice, just a single image transferred into your mind. A tree with no leaves. Its branches full of masks. And at the base, one empty branch, waiting. The child lets go. You continue drifting. The shaft opens into a vast cavern. So vast, the air changes pitch. Your ears pop. Before you is a lake, perfectly still, glowing softly from within. You hover above it for a moment, uncertain. And then the voice from before, the one that told you to descend, whispers again, not in your ear, in your bones. Begin the walk, and suddenly, beneath the water, a path appears. Stone slabs light up, forming a winding trail across the lake's surface. You step onto it. The water around it ripples, but doesn't disturb the path. Each step feels like memory, not yours. Others. You walk past visions rising from the water shimmering like steam. A woman burying her mother, whispering old songs. A child learning to weave a mask from reeds and ash. A warrior sitting alone, watching the stars before his final battle. They aren't random. They're fragments, offerings. This lake is memory-made liquid, and it's testing you. Do you feel these lives? Do you see yourself in them? You pause at one vision. It's a man, standing alone in a hut, holding a cracked mirror. You realize you know his face. It's yours, but older, sad. You reach for him, but he disappears. The path continues. Eventually, you reach the island at the center. A stone platform, circular, smooth, on it a throne, carved from a single block of black limestone. And sitting in it, a figure, not masked, but faceless, like someone erased its features with time and wind. It raises a hand, and the drumming stops. The silence is heavy. You kneel. You don't know why. It just feels appropriate. The figure stands. It points to your chest. And that's when you feel it. The mask on your face isn't a mask anymore. It's inside you. Something opens in your chest, not painfully, more like a door. And from that door, something rises. A memory you never knew you carried. You're 5. You're holding your grandmother's hand. She's telling you a story about a lost city where people never die, only forget. You laugh and tell her you want to go there. She smiles and says, maybe you already have. The vision fades, but the feeling stays. Warmth, loss, wonder. The faceless figure nods. You've passed what? No clue. But the stone floor opens beneath you again, and you begin to sink. Lower, still deeper. The descent continues. But now you're not afraid. Not even surprised. Because here's the thing. No one who entered the lost Mayan city disappeared. They just remembered too much. Or maybe they became something else. You're falling now, not floating, not gliding, falling. But it's not scary. It's almost comforting. Like when you used to dream as a kid, those moments where gravity just gives up and the world blurs around you like watercolor left out in the rain. Except this time, You're not dreaming. Your body stays calm. No wind, no flailing. Only motion and the strange warmth of air brushing past your skin like whispers. And the fall ends not with a crash, but a landing. You find yourself standing in a hallway made entirely of obsidian. The walls don't reflect your image. They reflect possibilities. You see a dozen versions of yourself in them laughing. Angry, older, younger, all doing different things, all looking right at you. You walk forward, and the images ripple. They change. A version of you climbing out of a cave with golden light on your face. Another walking back toward the shaft, mask in hand. Another turning into smoke. You stop walking. The air thickens. Somewhere nearby, something hums. And then, footsteps. Bare feet, soft but confident. A woman steps into view. She wears a robe made from woven vines and feathers that shift color as she moves. Her face is visible bare, human, kind, lined with age. But her eyes, eternal. Why did you come? She asks. Her voice a breeze that tickles your cheek. You open your mouth to answer, but nothing comes out. She smiles. No one remembers right away, she says, and gestures for you to follow. So you do. She leads you into a chamber shaped like a spiral shell, just like the one you glimpsed above, but this one is alive. Its walls pulse with colors that change based on her footsteps. Pink, blue, green, gold, each hue casting strange shadows behind her. You sit together on a stone bench. She holds out a bowl filled with liquid light. Drink, she says, but slowly. You sip, the taste sweet corn and ash, the feeling like being held by someone who knew you before you were born. Your vision swirls, and you remember, not your life, someone else's. You're a farmer planting maize under a red sky. You're a dancer performing for a king. You're a healer mixing balche with honey to soothe a fever. You're all of them, and none of them. The woman places her hand on yours. You see now. You nod slowly. They didn't die. No, she says gently. They just stopped being one thing. You look around, and this city, it holds them. She smiles. It is them. She rises and leads you down another passage. There are doors now, small and wide, some carved with glyphs, others plain. Behind each, lives are playing out in silence. You peek through one and see a man sitting beside a fire, weeping gently while writing in sand. In another, a child chases a serpent made of smoke. You pass a third and freeze, because behind it, your face, you older, hollow-eyed, staring into the same lake you crossed earlier. What is this, you ask? A choice, she replies. The city doesn't trap. It reveals. The hallway ends at a platform overlooking a massive underground plaza. It stretches out endlessly pyramids, bridges, terraces, all glowing faintly in shifting colors, like an aurora trapped beneath stone. Figures move below. Hundreds, maybe thousands, all masked, all in motion. Some dancing, some meditating, some simply sitting in circles, remembering together. This is the heart of Sibal Batun, Asikyum tu maklinenai. This is where the ones who disappeared went. And they're still here. You notice now, none of them look startled or confused. They're calm, present, woven into the city's rhythm, like notes in a slow, endless song. The woman gestures to a staircase descending from the platform. You may join them, she says softly, or she tilts her head. You may return, few do, but the path remains. You look at the steps, then back at her. Will I remember any of this? Her eyes glint. Some do. In dreams, in déjà vu, in music that sounds older than it should. And if I stay, she smiles wider. You'll forget who you were, but remember who you are. Behind you, a door opens. It wasn't there before. It leads upward. You hear the surface. Birds, wind, rain on leaves. And you realize this isn't a test of bravery. It's a test of self. You turn to her. Why me? Her eyes soften because you listened. And for a moment, that makes perfect sense. You step toward the staircase, watching the masked figures below. Their movements ripple like choreography, an eternal rehearsal with no audience. One of them looks up and waves. You freeze. It's your grandmother, the one from your vision. She wears a jaguar mask, and she's laughing. Tears flood your eyes. You wave back. The moment passes. She turns and disappears into the crowd. And now, you're standing between two paths. Down or up, stay or leave. Forget or remember. And just when you think you've made your choice, the woman touches your shoulder. Before you decide, she whispers, "You must meet the original." You blink. The original? What? She steps aside. A new corridor has appeared. Narrow, cold, marked with symbols that burn slightly when you look at them. At the far end, a door made of gold and bone. Something behind it stirs, waits, breathes, and you understand. The first one who came here is still waiting, and it's time to see why. The corridor narrows behind you the moment you step in, as if the city itself is nudging you forward. The air thickens. It smells like smoke and sap, and that strange mineral tang that usually means something sacred is near. The golden bone door at the end of the corridor pulses faintly with inner light, like it's breathing. Not metaphorically, literally. You hesitate, just for a second. Then your fingers touch the handle smooth as water-worn stone, and the door swings open silently. Inside, the room is round, domed, with walls covered in carvings so dense they resemble wrinkled skin. Not 1 inch left blank. Every story ever told in this place, written by hands that aren't quite human anymore. And there, sitting cross-legged in the center of the room, is the original. You know instantly, not because of how they look. They're featureless, like a person-shaped shadow made of flickering candlelight. Not because they speak, because they don't. But you know it's them. The first, the one who built the map that led to the shaft. The one who stepped into darkness, not to escape, but to build something deeper. You sit across from them. The silence between you feels ancient. And then, they reach out and place something in your palm. A piece of obsidian, still warm, still humming. When your skin touches it fully, your vision splits. You're not you anymore. You're them. And it's hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago. The surface world is in chaos. The sky refuses to rain. Crops die. People turn on each other. Temples burn. And you, the original, are tired of watching. You consult the codices. You speak to the night. You listen to the stars. And they tell you there is a place beneath the skin of the world where time doesn't bite and people can become more. So you go, not as a priest, not as a king, just as a person ready. The vision shows your descent. Alone, hungry, determined. You carve the first glyphs. You build the first chamber. You summon the masks, not with magic, but with memory. You teach others. You lead the first arrivals. You give your name to the city, and then you erase yourself on purpose, because no one can guide the journey if they're still clinging to their old story. The vision ends, you're back in the room. The original is still sitting, still flickering, but you understand them now. They didn't disappear. They became infrastructure. Their thoughts pulse in the glowing vines that wind through the city. Their dreams echo in the lake. Their sadness sings in the drumming. You hold the obsidian tight, and for a moment, the original looks at you not like a successor, but like a mirror. Someone who might make the same choice. You stand. And when you do, the walls of the chamber begin to peel away, layer by layer, revealing the mechanics beneath the myth. Hidden stairs, rotating walls, secret air shafts that kept the city alive in the early days. Historians still argue whether the Maya had the engineering skills to build something like this. But seeing it now, feeling the intelligence in every beam and stone, you'd argue right back. There's brilliance here, precision, reverence. The Maya didn't just build for life, they built for after. You step through a newly revealed doorway and find yourself in what looks like a command chamber, if command chambers were made of coral, jade, and hummingbird bones. Tiny idols sit in a circle, each with a different face, each turned toward a black, sun-shaped dial in the center. It's not a clock, it's a memory dial. Each notch is a life, and the dial is full. You trace a finger over it and see flashes of other arrivals some centuries ago, some just last week. And there's one empty notch, waiting. You glance over your shoulder, half expecting the original to follow. But they're gone, back into the stone. Or maybe they are the stone. It's hard to tell anymore. A new stairway winds up from the chamber. Narrow and steep. You climb. Each step echoes with whispers, familiar voices from your own life now, all overlapping gently. Did you pack your lunch? I don't think they'll understand you. You always were a little strange. You smile. The whispers aren't mean. They're just echoes, remnants of a life you might still return to. At the top of the stairs, you step into a greenhouse. That's right, a lush, warm, sun-drenched greenhouse. You're not back on the surface, but something close. This is the middle layer where nature was preserved, where those who couldn't let go completely were allowed to rest. Birds flit between stone perches. A stream gurgles through hanging moss. Fruit trees bend with glowing, overripe gifts. It smells like vanilla, smoke, and rain-damp leaves. You realize that for all the darkness of the lower levels, this city has life at its center. The original made sure of that. You sit by the stream, breathe, soak it in, and then you hear it again. The drumming, but softer now, closer. It's calling you back toward the crowd, back toward the plaza, where the masked ones move like a river of memory. You rise, brushing moss from your clothes. The decision still isn't made, but you're closer now, to the truth, to the choice. And there's just one more place to see, one more door, locked, carved with your true name, the one you don't know yet, but you will, soon, very soon. You're holding your breath now. You step toward the door. It's old, yet somehow it gleams, as if polished by the reverence of countless footsteps. The air feels thicker around it, like it holds a secret, one that hasn't been shared with anyone in centuries. Your hand rests against the cool surface of the door. It's so familiar, like a door you've passed in dreams. The carvings are intricate, but they don't make sense at first. Faces twisted in masks, lines that seem to stretch into infinity, symbols of stars and serpents. And there, in the center, is the one glyph you can't escape. Your true name, but it's not your name. Not the name you were born with. Not the name you've carried through life. No, this name is older. Older than the first word spoken into the world. It's like a hum, a vibration you feel in the pit of your stomach, as if the syllables have been buried under layers of history, waiting for this exact moment to rise to the surface. You feel your fingers tingle. You hesitate. Why are you so afraid? And then you remember something from your vision with the original, the first one to come here. The name they carved into the door before they disappeared into the city. The name they had to shed. Was it their choice, or did the city demand it? You don't know, but there's no time to wonder anymore. You take a breath, closing your eyes for just a moment, and with a deep, steadying inhale, you push against the door. It opens, but only by a crack, and a wave of heat floods over you. It smells like the first spark of a bonfire, the smell of something new being born, but tinged with that same ancient scent that follows you through every corridor. The light behind the door pulses, a rhythm you can feel deep in your bones. The door opens wider, revealing a long passage. The walls here are smooth, almost polished, like they were designed to reflect rather than stand still. It's quiet, too quiet. You step through. There's a weight to the silence now, not the silence of a room where no one speaks. No. This silence is full of anticipation, like the city itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to choose what comes next. You walk deeper into the passage. The air grows thicker, but not with dust. It's charged, like the atmosphere before a storm. And then you see it. At the end of the hall, a massive tree stands, impossibly tall, its roots sprawling out in every direction, curling into the stone beneath you. The leaves are made of shimmering obsidian, reflecting the light like glass. But what makes this tree different? What makes it stand out in the city of stone and memory is that it's alive. It's not an idol or a relic. It's a living, breathing organism, pulsing with energy. The sound of the drumming is louder now. It's coming from the tree, not from the air, not from below, but from the roots, the deep roots that stretch all the way into the heart of the city. The vibrations ripple through the floor and into your feet. You stand in front of it. The roots stretch up toward you, almost like they're waiting for you to touch them. You hesitate, but something deep inside you urges you forward. You place your hand on the largest root. The moment your fingers make contact, a shock of warmth surges up your arm, and you're hit with a rush of memories. Not your own memories, but others who have walked this same path. People who came here seeking answers, seeking truth. They've all touched the tree, and in doing so, they've left a piece of themselves. They are woven into the fabric of the city, just like the figures in the plaza, just like the masks. You gasp, pulling your hand away, but it's too late. The memories are already there, etched into you like something that's always been part of you. You can feel the weight of the city now, the weight of its story, and you just know that the choice isn't about leaving or staying. The choice is about whether you'll forget or let yourself become part of something greater. You turn back to the entrance. The door is gone, replaced by a mass of roots that now form a natural barrier. It's like the tree has taken the city back. You look back to the tree. Its leaves shimmer, but the light isn't warm anymore. It feels cold, like it's waiting for you to give up. And that's the choice, isn't it? Remember or become. A strange presence stirs at the back of your mind. It's the original, or rather, a piece of them, still lingering. You take another step forward, your pulse quickening. The tree is still waiting. This is the moment when you realize the weight of your name. Not just the one etched into the door, but the one you've carried with you all your life. The tree knows that name. The city knows it. And just like the original inhabitants of this place, you too have a part to play in a story far bigger than yourself. But what part will you choose? Will you forget the world you know and embrace the endless rhythm of this city, this endless sea of masks? Or will you walk away, forever leaving the city's weight behind? You take a step forward, one more. The decision is almost made. Almost, but you're still here, still hovering. And the tree watches you in the stillness. Its obsidian leaves flickering with something more than just light. They flicker with life. The decision lies ahead, and you're standing at its door. You breathe in deeply, the air around you heavy with the scent of wet earth and burning incense. The roots beneath your feet seem to pulse in response to your hesitation, as if the very ground itself is aware of the weight of your decision. Every inch of the tree radiates an ancient power, drawing you closer, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. Its presence is undeniable, like a magnetic pull that tugs at something deep inside you. You glance once more at the shimmering obsidian leaves above, each one sharp-edged, like pieces of glass. They flicker in the dim light of the chamber, casting jagged shadows across the stone floor. The drumming grows louder now, more insistent, as if urging you to move, to act, to decide. The memories still swirl in your mind, the faces, the lives, the choices of all those who came before you. Each one touched by the tree, by the city, by this place. They all left pieces of themselves here, and you can feel them riding the air like a silent current, swirling around you, begging for you to understand. And yet, you still hesitate, because deep down, you know that no matter what decision you make, you will never be the same. This city doesn't just change its visitors, it remakes them. And the truth that it offers is both beautiful and terrifying, like the sudden clarity that comes with a sharp breath of cold air after a long, heavy fog. The tree's branches tremble as though it, too, is waiting. A low hum vibrates through the air, a soft resonance that seems to echo from deep within the earth itself. The walls of the chamber begin to shimmer faintly, like the reflection of heat waves rising from the ground. You realize that this place is alive. It's not just a city, not just a relic of the past. It's a living, breathing entity woven into the very fabric of the land. You take another step forward, your feet sinking slightly into the moss-covered stone. The pulse of the roots beneath you growing stronger with each movement. You reach out again, your fingers brushing lightly against the nearest branch, and a shock runs through you. The sensation is indescribable. It's like touching fire and ice at once, a rush of warmth and cold that fills every part of you, leaving you breathless. The light from the tree swirls around your hand, and suddenly, the world around you shifts. For a brief moment, you're not in the city at all. You're somewhere else, somewhere distant, yet familiar. You're standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves crashing against the shore, and the sky above you is the color of blood. The horizon is a thin line between two worlds, as if the sea itself is a boundary between reality and something beyond. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of salt and something else, something sweet and bitter all at once. You look down at your feet and see the same roots that are beneath you here, stretching into the sand, twisting and intertwining with the earth. They grow toward the water, seeking it, feeding from it, like a living, breathing network that connects everything. And in the distance, you see them figures, moving along the shore, their faces obscured by masks, their steps in perfect rhythm with the pulse of the roots beneath. They are the people who have disappeared, those who chose to step into the city and leave their old lives behind. You see their faces twisted in pain, or in joy, or in some strange mixture of both. But they all share one thing in common. They are no longer alive in the way you understand. They have become something other, something different. And in that moment, it clicks. You are standing at the edge of something, a threshold between two worlds, the one you've known, with all its familiarity, its comforts, its pain, and the one that lies beyond. A place where time bends and memory doesn't fade, where souls intertwine with the fabric of the city, becoming part of its endless story. The decision is no longer just about you. It's about what comes after. The tree, the city, the people, all of them are waiting. And now, you must choose. You close your eyes for a moment. The sounds of the waves crashing against the shore blending with the hum of the tree. The drumming growing louder, pulling you back toward the heart of the city. You can feel the pull in your bones now, the pull toward something greater. something beyond the limits of the life you've known. You can feel the weight of the stories that have come before you, the people who have walked this path and never returned. But will you? Will you leave behind your past and become part of something else? Something eternal? Or will you take the path back, away from the city, away from the choices it offers, back to the world you know, a voice in your mind, soft but clear, whispers, you are more than the sum of your choices. You are the thread that weaves through them. You open your eyes, and you're back in the city, standing before the tree once more. Its roots beckon. The decision remains. Will you become, or will you forget? A step forward, a step away. The city waits. The air is electric now. The very atmosphere around you hums with a force that you can feel vibrating in your chest. The tree's roots seem to tremble in response, like they're calling to you. The air grows warmer still, and the hum of the drumming, once distant, is now a constant presence. The rhythm pulses in your bones, matching the beat of your heart. It's so loud, so insistent, that it drowns out every other thought in your mind. The choice you face is clear, but it's not easy. You can feel it. The pull of the city, its magnetic force, pressing against your will. The tree whispers in a language you can't fully understand, but you hear it in your gut, like an instinct. It wants you to step into the cycle, to become part of this endless loop of memory, to wear the mask and lose yourself in the rhythm of the city. It offers you something powerful, something ancient, but there's still that lingering doubt. What's lost? What's gone forever if you choose this path? You take a step forward, then another. Your feet move without your full consent, as though the city itself is guiding you. It's not a forceful thing, not violent. It's like being led by the current of a river. Slowly, gently, irresistibly towards something, and then, before you realize it, you're standing beneath the canopy of the tree, its leaves sparkling like fragments of a shattered dream. The roots seem to beckon, pulling up from the stone floor, wrapping around your feet like a loving embrace. The drumming is so close now that it fills your entire body. And then you hear the voice. It's soft at first, barely more than a whisper, but it comes from inside you, deep in your chest, resonating in places you didn't know existed. What will you become? The question echoes, ringing in your ears. It isn't a command. It's not a threat. It's a simple question, one that pierces straight through the uncertainty, the fear, the hesitation. You've heard this voice before, haven't you? In the silence between breaths, in the back of your mind, a whisper that told you there was something more, something waiting for you in the depths of this city. You look up at the tree, its shimmering obsidian leaves catching the dim light, casting kaleidoscopic shadows on the walls. The tree's pulse is slowing now, as if waiting for you to make your decision, to reach your conclusion. The choice still stands, stark and undeniable. The path toward the city's center, where the heartbeat of the city lives, is still open. The way forward lies beneath the tree's branches, its roots reaching for you, ready to embrace you fully. But then you remember, The people you saw in your visions, the ones who came before, the ones who disappeared into the city, never to return. They didn't leave a mark on the world. Their lives were lost to the pulse of the city, swallowed whole by the endless rhythm of the tree. Is that what you want? To become part of the city? To be woven into its fabric? To leave behind your name, your history, everything that you once were? Or do you want something else? Do you want to leave? To walk away from this place? To return to the world you know, with its familiar pains and comforts, knowing that what you experienced here will remain a mystery, a story you'll never be able to fully tell. You take another step back, a small movement, but it's enough to send the city's pulse spiraling in a new direction. The air around you shifts. The roots beneath you loosen, retreating slightly, as if the city itself is giving you space, waiting for you to choose. The drumming changes pitch. It's no longer the steady beat you've heard all this time. Now, it's erratic, disjointed, almost as if it's responding to your inner conflict. You can feel the change. You can feel it growing desperate, almost pleading. The tree flickers, its leaves shimmering violently as though it's reacting to something in you. The decision, you realize, isn't just about choosing to stay or leave. It's about what you will give up, what part of yourself you are willing to leave behind. What will you become? You turn toward the roots again. The connection is so strong now, so undeniable. The city wants you. It wants you to become a part of it, to lose yourself in the endless pulse of its heart. But something inside you resists. You're not sure what it is, a memory, a dream, a whisper from the past, but you can feel it clearly now. A part of you doesn't want to lose who you are. A part of you doesn't want to surrender to the rhythm of the city, to become one of the faces in the mask. Your fingers clench, digging into the stone beneath you, grounding yourself. You feel the earth beneath your feet, and in that small, solid moment, you remember. You don't have to forget yourself to belong. You don't have to lose your name, your history, your past, to step into something greater. You can carry it with you. And yet, there's still that question echoing in your mind. What will you become? The answer is out there. In the stillness between the drumming, in the spaces where the city's pulse doesn't reach, you stand, breathing in the thick, charged air, the weight of the choice pressing against you. But you're still not ready to decide. Not yet. You turn back toward the distant path, the one that leads out of the city, toward the world you know. The pull is there, but it's not as strong as it once was. You're not sure where this road leads, but it's the one you choose. For now, the road behind you is no longer clear. The path, once familiar, is now hidden beneath the weight of the choice you've made. The city hums around you, like a soft murmur in the background. The air thick with the gravity of the decision that still lingers in your chest. You take a deep breath, the cool air filling your lungs, and turn away from the tree. Its roots seem to pull back slightly, but there's a faint sense of disappointment that stirs in the atmosphere. It's not loud, not obvious, but you feel it, like the faintest shiver down your spine. a vibration in the air that only the most attuned can sense. You begin to walk. The stone beneath your feet feels heavy now, like it's pressing against you, reluctant to let go. The city, the very ground beneath you, seems to push and pull in different directions, trying to keep you close, to keep you in, but your steps are firm. You don't look back, not yet. The corridor narrows as you move deeper into the heart of the city, the walls closing in, like the city is trying to reclaim you, to turn you around, to force you back into its grasp. But you keep moving forward. You feel the air shift again, warmer now, the smell of incense growing stronger, mingling with the scent of damp stone. The drumming has quieted, but it's still there, like a heartbeat beneath the earth. It's slower now, calmer, as if the city is letting you go, but only just. The city breathes around you, alive, aware. It knows. And yet, despite the tension in the air, despite the knowledge that you are leaving the city, part of you feels lighter, like a weight has been lifted from your chest. You've made the choice. You reach the edge of the plaza, the place where you first stepped into the city. The great stone masks are still there, their eyes empty, their expressions frozen in time. But now, they feel different, less like watchers, less like sentinels, and more like part of a memory, something that belongs to another time, another world. The sound of your footsteps echoes through the square, hollow and distant, as if the space around you is vast, even though you know it's not. It's almost as if the city is holding its breath. You glance up at the towering stone figures, but their stony faces don't seem to stare at you anymore. They're like phantoms, not part of this world, not part of the decision you've just made. The air, too, feels different. The weight of the past, of the stories that have been left here by those who came before you, has lifted, and yet there's still a strange sense of being watched, a faint awareness that something or someone is lingering just beyond your sight. You step toward the exit of the plaza. There's a narrow opening ahead of you, and beyond that, the night sky stretches out like a vast canvas of stars waiting to welcome you back. But then, as you walk through the archway, something shifts. The ground beneath you trembles, just slightly, like a whisper of movement, a flicker of something beneath the surface. And for a moment, just a moment, you feel the city's pulse again, the rhythm, the heartbeat. It's like a final plea. Will you forget me? The thought drifts through your mind, soft but insistent. It's the same voice you heard in the tree, but now it's more urgent, more intimate, like it's speaking directly to you, to your soul. You stop. The world around you freezes for a heartbeat, the sounds of the night air fading into stillness. You feel the weight of the question pressing against your mind, like a wave rising in your chest. What if you could stay? What if you could walk deeper into the heart of the city and find what the others never did, what the original came searching for? What if there was more here than just the weight of the masks, the trees, the memories? What if, by leaving, you were walking away from something that could change you forever? But there's a truth in that thought, a realization that feels like a bolt of lightning striking your chest. You don't need to stay to understand the city. You don't need to become a part of it to know what it offers. What matters is the choice, not the result. And you've chosen, you continue walking. The air lightens as you leave the plaza behind, and soon, the city's hum fades into the distance. The stars above you feel bright now. The night sky clearer. Like the world you've left behind is opening up to you again. There's no turning back, but the weight in your chest is gone. The pull is weaker, fading with each step you take away from the city. You step through the last archway, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you see the world outside, the open plains, the endless horizon, the cool breeze that brushes against your skin. The familiar sounds of the night return, crickets chirping, the rustle of leaves in the distance, the occasional howl of a far-off creature. You're free, but in that freedom, you know something else. Something important you've left a part of yourself in the city. Not the city itself, but the choice you made. And that choice is yours, forever. You look back one last time, but the city has vanished, swallowed by the earth, as if it was never really there at all. All that remains is the memory of it, of the tree, of the roots, of the masks. The stars above are clearer now, the night peaceful. And in that peace, you know that, whatever happens next, you have found what you needed. You found your own way. The city will remain where it is, a secret, hidden in the heart of the earth. And you're free. The weight of the city is gone now, but the questions it raised linger, hanging in the cool air around you like an unfinished melody. The night stretches ahead, vast and endless. The stars, like little pinpricks of light, shimmer above. Each one a distant world that seems so far removed from the city you've just left behind. You wonder about the others, the ones who came before you, the ones who disappeared into the city and were never seen again. Where did they go? What did they find? For a fleeting moment, a thought crosses your mind, maybe, just maybe. The city wasn't a place of destruction at all. Maybe it was transformation. Maybe those who disappeared didn't just vanish. They became part of something greater, something eternal. You shake your head slightly, trying to clear the thoughts that are starting to cloud your mind. It's easy to get lost in the mysteries of the unknown, to let the what-ifs take over. But you made your choice. You walked away, and that's what matters now. The landscape around you feels different, yet familiar. You're no longer in the shadow of that ancient, crumbling city. But there's a sense of being watched still, just like before. You look around, half expecting to see the city rising from the earth again. Its towering walls and shimmering tree branches stretching into the night sky. But no, there's nothing. Just the open, quiet plains. A chill runs down your spine as you think about what lies ahead. It's not a fear of the unknown. Not exactly. It's more like a suspicion, a nagging feeling that something is still out of reach, just beyond the horizon. You've left the city, but you don't feel like you've truly left it. You've stepped away. Yes, but a part of you remains behind. The wind picks up, rustling the grass beneath your feet. It feels almost like the city itself is still calling you, its breath on the wind, urging you to look back, but you keep walking forward. The road is long, and you have no idea what comes next. But that's okay. There's a strange comfort in not knowing, in not being bound by the past, by the choices that could have been. You pause for a moment, letting the cool breeze wash over you, feeling the air tug at your clothes, at your hair. The wind smells fresh of earth, of night, of freedom. And then, as you walk further into the plains, a strange thing happens. You notice something in the distance, a flicker of movement, something that wasn't there before. You stop, heart pounding in your chest. Could it be you blink and it's gone? Was it a trick of the light? Or was it something more? You shake your head again, trying to push away the thought. It's just your mind playing tricks. Right. The city had a way of messing with your perceptions, warping the world around you until everything seemed just a little off, a little twisted. But then, from the corner of your eye, you catch another flicker. It's closer this time. A shape, a figure standing just beyond the horizon, barely visible against the backdrop of the night sky. You squint, trying to make it out. Could it be someone else, another traveler? Or perhaps you take a step forward, your heart beating louder in your chest. Your instincts, the same ones that had guided you through the city, urge you to keep moving forward. But something in your gut tells you to stay, to watch. And so, you do. The figure stands still, unmoving. There's something haunting about it, something that seems both familiar and foreign. It's as though it's waiting for you, waiting for something you don't quite understand yet. You take another step, then another. The distance between you and the figure shrinking with each movement. The wind stirs again, and the figure shifts just slightly, as though it senses your approach. You can't make out details yet, but there's something about it that feels wrong. Not in a threatening way, not exactly, but in a way that makes your skin crawl. You can't explain it, but you know it. Finally, the figure is close enough for you to see more clearly. It's human. At least, it looks human, but its features are blurred, out of focus, as though they are constantly shifting like a memory that refuses to stay still. It's wearing a mask, one of those same stone masks you saw in the city. But this one seems different. The mask is cracked, ancient, as though it has weathered centuries of time. It glimmers faintly in the moonlight, reflecting the stars above. You freeze, staring at it, trying to make sense of what you're seeing. But the figure doesn't move. It just stands there, watching you. A shiver runs down your spine. You don't know what to do. The decision was supposed to be over. You were supposed to be free of the city's pull, free of its secrets. But here, standing before you, is something that feels just as much a part of the city as the tree or the masks. And in that moment, you realize the city didn't just leave you. It followed you. The figure shifts again, just a little, and the world seems to bend with it. The landscape warping in a strange, dizzying way. You take a step back, unsure of what's happening, your mind spinning. But the figure doesn't move closer. It stays where it is, watching you, as if waiting for you to make the next move. What do you do now? The night feels still, almost unnaturally so, as you stand frozen, staring at the figure before you. The weight of its gaze is heavy, pressing in on your chest. You want to turn away, to keep walking, to leave whatever this is behind. But something pulls you in some deep, unexplainable force that's as familiar as the city itself. You're not sure why you hesitate, not sure what compels you to stand your ground, but you know you can't simply ignore it. The figure doesn't move, not yet. The cracked mask reflects the pale moonlight, catching it in strange, distorted ways. The mask seems almost alive, flickering like an old flame in the dark. You wonder if this figure, like so many before, is caught in some loop, some memory, condemned to repeat itself for eternity, bound to the city's pulse just as you were. A gust of wind stirs the grass at your feet, and for a moment, the world seems to settle back into its usual rhythm. The figure, however, doesn't shift. Its stillness is unnerving, but you don't back down. You take a cautious step forward, your eyes never leaving the shape that stands before you. The ground beneath your feet shifts slightly, and you feel a tremor run through the earth. It's subtle, like a distant echo, but it's unmistakable, just as you felt when you were in the heart of the city. The city's pulse, that rhythmic beat, the very thing that pulled you in and tried to claim you, is still here. You can feel it in your bones, in your blood, as though the figure itself is part of the city's endless cycle. Is this what the others experienced? Did they, too, leave the city, only to find themselves trapped in this liminal space, stuck between worlds, caught in the aftershock of their choices? You take another step forward, but this time, the figure's head tilts ever so slightly. The mask shifts, as if acknowledging you. It's unsettling. This movement, it's not human. It's not animal. It's something else, something from another realm entirely. The wind picks up again, and with it, a faint sound, a whisper, barely audible, like the rustling of dry leaves. What did you leave behind? The voice seems to say. The words aren't clear, but you hear them in your mind. Feel them settle deep in your chest, stirring something long forgotten. You swallow, your throat dry, unsure of what to say or how to respond. The words linger in your mind, rattling around with all the others that have come before. What did you leave behind? What part of yourself did you sacrifice when you chose to walk away from the city, from the cycle? You hadn't thought much about it at first. You'd been so focused on escaping the pull of the city, so intent on freedom, that you didn't stop to consider what you might be giving up. But now, facing this figure, this relic of the city, you start to wonder. Was there something left behind? Something important? Something that, even now, tugs at you, calling you back to the place you thought you had left for good. Your hand reaches out, almost instinctively, but you hesitate. The figure remains unmoving, as though it's waiting for you to make a decision. You can't quite explain it, but you feel the connection between you and it. You've walked away from the city, yes, but maybe, just maybe, the city hasn't fully let go of you. What happens if you choose to go back? The question lingers in your mind, growing louder with each passing second. You imagine yourself turning around, retracing your steps, heading back toward the heart of the city. The tree, the roots, the pulsing rhythm of the city's heartbeat. Could you return? Could you find the answers you left behind? But then, another thought crosses your mind. What if this is it? What if this figure is the last echo of the city? The last thing left for you to confront before you can truly be free. You look at the figure again. Its mask like a shadow in the moonlight. The cracks running through it like scars on a long-forgotten face. The eyes of the mask seem to watch you with an intensity that makes your skin crawl. You wonder if you'll ever fully understand the meaning of the city, of what it wanted from you. You've been given a choice, again, one that feels just as weighty as the one you made before. And once again, it's not a simple decision. You're torn between the desire for answers, for closure, and the need to keep moving forward, to leave the city behind and never look back. Is this the final test? Your heartbeat quickens as the figure shifts slightly. The mask tilting again, the cracked surface catching the moonlight in strange, fractured patterns. It's almost as if the figure is waiting for you to make a choice, waiting for you to decide what comes next. You draw in a breath, steadying yourself. This is it. There's no turning back now. And just as you begin to make a move, a voice whispers through the wind, barely audible, but unmistakable. It's not too late. The words seem to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once, like a distant echo of the city's pulse, reverberating in your bones. The air grows still once more, and in that moment, you know that the choice is yours. You've always known. You look back at the figure, but it's no longer there. The figure is gone, swallowed by the night, and in its place, the horizon stretches out before you, endless and open. The city is behind you. The path forward is yours. But what comes next? The horizon stretches endlessly before you, and in the silence of the night, there's a strange sense of closure. The figure is gone, vanished into the depths of the landscape, as if it was never truly there. The eerie pull of the city, the weight of its secrets, has lifted, leaving you standing alone beneath the expanse of the star-filled sky. You take a slow, deliberate breath, feeling the cool night air fill your lungs. The weight that had once pressed so heavily on your chest, the sense that something was always watching, has dissipated. The city's heartbeat, once a constant thrum in your bones, is nothing but a memory now. And though it still lingers in the corners of your mind, you understand that the choice you made was yours alone, and it was the right one. You look up at the stars. They are brighter now, the sky clearer. The familiar sounds of the night fill your ears, the soft rustle of the wind in the trees, the distant call of nocturnal creatures, the rhythm of the world carrying on, unaffected by the mysteries that lie behind you. The world feels more real, more alive in its quiet simplicity. There's peace in the stillness. And for the first time since you entered the city, you feel as though you are truly here, in this moment, free of the burden that once gripped you. It's almost as if you've stepped into a new world, one that's been waiting for you all along. A world where the mysteries of the past no longer hold sway over you, where the shadows of forgotten cities don't follow your every step. You are here now, in the present, with the full weight of your choices resting in your hands. And yet, you can't quite shake the feeling that you've changed. Not in a way that's easily explained, but in a way that's deep within you. You've left behind something. And while you know it wasn't easy, you also know it was necessary. You've left behind the fear, the uncertainty, the compulsion to seek answers where none exist. You've found something more important, peace. As you stand there, alone in the vastness of the plains, you realize that the city, the mystery, the figure, they were never about finding answers in the traditional sense. They were about confronting yourself, about facing the pull of the past and choosing to move forward, choosing to step into the unknown without the weight of what could have been holding you back. And in that, you feel a deep sense of satisfaction. You didn't need to solve the puzzle, didn't need to unlock the final secret to understand what the journey was truly about. It was about letting go, about freedom. For a moment, you stand still, letting the wind brush past you, listening to the symphony of the night, the soft sound of rustling leaves, the distant chirp of crickets, the gentle hum of the earth beneath your feet. It all feels like a quiet lullaby, coaxing you into a restful peace. The world is vast, and in the quiet, you hear the possibility of 1,000 new paths stretching before you. Each one is open and uncertain as the night sky. The future is wide and waiting, and you can't help but feel a spark of excitement at what lies ahead. But for now, there's no rush. You allow yourself to simply be. You let go of the tension in your shoulders, the knots of fear that had once tethered you to the unknown, and you rest in the calm of the moment. The choices have been made. The journey is yours now, but it can wait a little longer. And as you close your eyes for just a moment, a sense of contentment settles over you. You've faced the mysteries, the pull of the unknown, and you've come out the other side stronger for it. And now, the only thing left is to move forward. The world, vast and full of endless possibilities, is yours to explore, and for the first time, you know that you are free. The story is over. See you tomorrow night. Sweet dreams.